What's up, guys? Today I'm bringing to you my first and probably my last Catch Cup video for Season 5 at least. If they bring it back, of course, I'll do more, but I did decide I was going to make a leaderboard push this season. I know it's not really a full season. Maybe it doesn't mean as much, but I figured I'd try and keep the streak going anyways. This is the team I started using in Catch Cup. I had a lot more teams prepared, but obviously, I didn't want to mess with something that was working. Unfortunately, a lot of those teams looked like they were going to be a lot of fun. I want to talk a little bit about Catch Cup before we get into this video. I spent just over 300,000 dust on this team, but in my opinion, I wasted 0 dust. These Pokemon are either Pokemon that I do not have and really wanted to use, like Mandibuzz and Probopass in the past. Probably the most common question I've ever been asked is, oh, what can I replace Bastion with? I've always wanted to see if Probopass could do a good job, and it certainly has. And then, of course, I already have a Shadow Victreebel for Great League, but I don't have one for Ultra League, and these are some of the best Ultra League IVs I could get, so I figured spending the dust now as opposed to spending it later, definitely not a waste. So while it may not look like a budget team to you guys, all of this dust was dust I was going to spend regardless, and getting more wins helps you get more dust back, so it's just, let's call it an investment. But I will get into this video. This team is very similar to some teams I've had a lot of success with in the past. Let's just take a look. We have Shadow Victreebel in the lead, Mandibuzz as the safe swap, and Probopass as the closer. Probopass doing its best Bastion impression. We're going to have a bad lead to start here. So these games were done over a couple days. My queue times were just very long, so I wasn't able to play more than a couple of sets a day. So the beginning of Catch Cup, you're going to see it's a little bit spicier, and then we're going to start seeing a lot of Azumarills and Galarian Stunfisks and stuff like that. But Shadow Victreebel obviously is doing its best Shadow Victreebel impression, and then Mandibuzz functions kind of like a Deoxys defense in this case. It doesn't really share a lot of the same weaknesses as Probopass. It does draw Galarian Stunfisk, but for the most part, it plays the safe switch in a manner where you can try and win back switch advantage or really threaten them. Like you see in this case, they swap in a Magneton, and the Magneton tries to farm down, and it's unable to do so. Mandibuzz actually wins back switch advantage versus Magneton, which is absolutely incredible. So now a switch advantage back. Probopass is lined up against Magmortar, which is exactly what we want. And unfortunately, I have a Whimsicott as well. This is the one Charmer that Victreebel doesn't really beat. So I do need to weaken it a little bit first. Oh, actually, it's a Razor Leaf Whimsicott, so I could have swapped right away. I didn't really stop to check, but Shadow Victreebel does not beat Charm Whimsicott. And then it would get out of that matchup with enough energy to throw a move at Probopass, so it was important that I move in there. This battle is versus Auburn. Auburn is now number 1 on leaderboard. He was number 1 on leaderboard last season as well. This guy is an absolute monster, but he also has no shame. He's going to run the absolute most meta lineup. I'm not hating on him. I'm just saying this is what it takes to win. This is what it takes to be number 1 right here. He's bringing out the Galarian Stunfisk after his Azumarill, and I'm going to stay in because my backline is absolutely not good versus Galarian Stunfisk. And he actually plays this so well. He charges up to an Earthquake as well. So this is the way you force 2 shields from Shadow Victreebel. He's not going to let me get away with just letting a Rock Slide through and saving a shield. Now his Azumarill's in a pretty good place because if he can farm down my Mandibuzz, for example, with his Azumarill, then my Victreebel can't really come back in. And at that point, the game could be over. It's going to be very close. It's not as simple as winning the lead versus this team with my team. In fact, actually, I think the only game I lose in this set is versus a 1 lead. But we're going to see he's just trying to keep 100 energy. He's going to throw an Ice Beam here, and he's probably going to undercharge it a little bit. I don't actually know how much damage a normal Ice Beam would, but he wants to be able to leave this matchup with as close to 100 energy as possible, and he's going to be able to do it. I'm going to get to a final aerial ace. This will be very important, actually, that I get to this, do as much damage as I can. I bring out Shadow Victreebel, and what I was thinking about doing is going in and swapping immediately to Probopass to catch the Ice Beam, but I didn't commit to the idea, and I'm going to lose my Victreebel. So Probopass is going to come in, and with Spark, I'm able to deal a little bit more damage to Azumarill, and guess what? It's no Hydro Pump Azumarill. So I'm actually still in a very good position here, just because the Azumarill is not running Hydro Pump. Got a bit lucky, but it is what it is. Play Rough is going to obviously allow him to win many more matches that aren't against my team. Yeah, and I'm just going to take this nice and easy. I probably could have thrown a Rock Slide there. I don't really know the damage Probopass's moves at this point. But Thunderbolt is just to be safe. It's super effective versus the Skarmory. So we're going to take that win against that rank 1 player in the world right there. I don't think he's been losing a lot because he's climbing very steadily every day. Actually, I think this guy's number 2 on the leaderboards. So this set filled with a ton of higher up players. We have an Azumarill lead here, and even though it's very favorable, he decides to stay in. This means that he's got something in the back that's incredibly weak to Shadow Victreebel. But he's going to bring in the Magneton. And I'm going to throw Leaf Blade here. Leaf Blade hurts a ton. That's a pun, I guess, by accident. But you can't take any charge moves on Victreebel from Magneton at all. And I'm going to get to this Leaf Blade. And in hindsight, what I think I should have done is probably swap here. Let's see if I do. Yeah, I do. But I swapped to Probopass. I really should have just swapped to Mandibuzz. But Probopass still does quite a bit of damage to Toxicroak. The problem is this Toxicroak has a ton of energy. So I'm going to go in with Shadow Victreebel. And hopefully they just throw a Mud Bomb so I can get a little bit more damage in. But the issue here is that his Toxicroak will get to a Sludge Bomb. And I think the Magneton, if I remember correctly, has a move stored. And Mandibuzz is very tanky and does not win CMP tie versus Magneton. So he's going to come in with the CMP tie and he's going to win. So yeah, very well played by my opponent there. I probably should have swapped into the Mandibuzz first, letting Toxicroak, or just let my Victreebel go down, but letting Toxicroak farm down my my Probopass was an issue. So my issue there was the read of the team. I thought he had something very weak to Shadow Victreebel. What he was really doing was saving Toxicroak for Probopass, or what he probably thought was Bastiodon at the time. Because it's not a well-documented team, but it's very similar to a well-documented team. So Hypno comes in, and I'm going to swap into Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz obviously very good against Hypno. Thunder Punch is super effective, but look, it does not do very much damage. And I'm going to be able to leave this matchup with either a ton of energy. I'm willing to shield here too, to keep all this energy, but they're going to come in with an Azumarill, and I'm just going to use all this energy. Aerial Ace is kind of a really bad move, but if it was a good move, then Mandibuzz would be absolutely busted. So yeah, they're going to try and farm me all the way down. What I want to do is force them to throw their energy, or either deal as much damage as I can, so that Victreebel needs less hits to take down the Azumarill. So they don't actually have to throw, but I'm going to do what I described earlier in that game versus Auburn, and I'm going to swap right away into Victreebel and then into Probopass. So they see that grass come up in the top left, or sorry, top right. They press that Ice Beam button, and then I swap in and catch that with Probopass, and they're just immediately going to leave. So much easier to do this with the new Switch menu. That's a play that's almost impossible with the old Switch menu. So it's nice to be able to pull that off. We're going to see a Whiscash lead. This is probably the best lead to hope for, and they're going to come with Dugong. A Pokemon that Shadow Victreebel also beats, albeit with a shield, and I will gladly take this trade, eliminate that Dugong, and we'll see what they come in with at the back. It's probably a Skarmory because Whiscash and Skarmory are such a good pair. Oh, but it's not. It's Rapidash. So this game is actually going to be... I remember this game. This is a very, very close game. I swap out because I need my Shadow Victreebel for Whiscash. Actually, that's not true. I technically could have Mandibuzz go up against Whiscash, but that's going to happen anyways when they swap out. They're going to want to save that Rapidash for Shadow Victreebel. So I'm going to get as much damage through as I can on this Whiscash and kind of force this Whiscash to throw all of its energy. Mud Bombs don't do anything, so he really needs to go for Blizzard or nothing. And we'll see if he baits, but most Whiscashes have not been baiting versus Mandibuzz. Yeah, there's the straight Blizzard. I'm going to wait the switch timer down a little bit and then come in with Victreebel and finish off the Whiscash. I'm going to throw 2 Razor Leafs, and then this Leaf Blade, that's the count versus 5 turn moves. Probably have to release a video with that, and I'll swap out to Probopass. So unfortunately, I click the Rock Slide button. So in my head, I should be in a fake CMP tie, but somehow I am not, and they're going to get another move through. So the Drill Run is a double super effective move against Probopass, unfortunately, but Probopass is a beast and lives through 1. Also lives through Bulldoze from Alolan Sandslash, and I'm able to return fire with a Rock Slide to finish the game. So we're going to start that off with a 4 out of 5 set. Yeah, it was a bit weird playing with this team. Mandibuzz definitely doesn't draw out the fighters like I thought it would. Even with Snarl, it deals so well with the fighters, just with Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace deals nearly 50% of the health of Pokemon like Medicham and more than that from a Machamp and Toxicroak. So it's really tough for them to come in on a Mandibuzz that's already powering up, which is kind of like a missed theory craft on my part. But it is what it is. So Medicham lead. We're going to swap out right away into Galarian Stunfisk. This is a matchup I need to stay in as well. As we've seen before, I elect to shield the Rock Slides. If this was an Azumarill lead, I wouldn't have shielded the Rock Slides. But I'm shielding Rock Slides because I need my Victreebel to be at a good amount of health, because otherwise the counters from Medicham will take it down. And I don't want that to happen. So instead, I'll go down a shield and retain most of my health, and they're going to come in with Bastiodon, so it's a good thing I did this. Bastiodon, also pretty good versus the entire team. This is one of the issues, is Mandibuzz is much worse against these steel types than a lot of the safe switches I've run in the past. I usually run counter users, so I'm going to go with Probopass to bring out their Medicham. And Medicham versus Mandibuzz is not a matchup that I knew, but it is one that I know now, and it's actually very favorable for Mandibuzz. So you can see their Medicham has a shield advantage, but you just charge so much faster to get to these Aerial Aces, and I'm going to be able to tank one more Ice Punch and get off this last Aerial Ace to finish off this Medicham. So this is very important. If Medicham exits this matchup with any sort of HP, Probopass is not going to be able to do anything. So I'm going to bring in Probopass right away. No shields remaining, but it doesn't really matter. The Probopass Bastiodon matchup is very neutral. I think in the 0 shield, maybe Bastiodon wins, but in the 1 shield, just because Probopass charges a bit faster, it wins. And you just want to be throwing straight Thunderbolts. It'll be throwing straight Flamethrowers. It's slightly faster than the Bastiodon versus Bastiodon matchup, but not really. And it's more about counting your moves than fast move denial, which is something that I like, just because it's more consistent. Just seeing Alolan Raichu lead here is very favorable. It's only really good against the Mandibuzz on this team, but it would be nice if I could just remove it. I actually don't need a shield here, but I do. And they're going to stay in instead of swapping and let their Raichu go down. In comes Skarmory, and I'm going to guess his Whiscash. Yep. Which is completely fine too. That's kind of what I want, is that Whiscash to come out. And I know as soon as this happens, this game is over. Probopass is going against Skarmory. Probopass absolutely dominates Skarmory. And add to that, this Whiscash, if it wants to beat Mandibuzz, is going to have to throw a shield or 2 at it. So, because the Blizzard doesn't one-hit KO. And okay, we get a lot of lag there. There was a lot of lag in these sets, which is super unfortunate to see from either side. And their Skarmory is going to come out and take out my Mandibuzz. I didn't realize it would be at a charge move already, but that is okay. That would have just been extending the game anyways. So I'll bring out the Probopass, and I think they stay in for a little bit. They don't really know Probopass's matchups. They're like, is this winnable for Skarmory? I think it is if they're running Flash Cannon, but I've only seen 1 Flash Cannon Skarmory in Catch Cup so far. So I think that was someone just making a Sky Attack Skarmory, or sorry, a Brave Bird Skarmory and a Flash Cannon Skarmory. So this game we're going to see Whimsicott. So it swaps out right away, which is kind of confusing to me. So that makes me think it might be a Razor Leaf Whimsicott. I'm going to get this Obstagoon kind of low. What I wanted to do was try and catch the Night Slash, but it doesn't throw the Night Slash right away. So well played by this player, kind of anticipating that swap. And Gunk Shot hurts a lot more, obviously, than Night Slash. I considered shielding because I thought it might be running Hyper Beam, but I figured it probably wouldn't be running Hyper Beam in Great League without the Azumarill around. So it does blow a shield, and I'm going to decide I can either shield or no shield here. I shield, unfortunately, but because I'm at a charge move, but they're at 2 Night Slashes, so I'm actually going to let my Mandibuzz go down here. I don't really care too much about orientation this game, just because Whimsicott barely beats Shadow Victreebel and doesn't beat Probopass at all. So it's going to come back in on Probopass, and they reveal they have a Mandibuzz, so Obstagoon is their only counter to Probopass. So Probopass is just going to have to go ham this game. Victreebel is not very good versus the rest of their Pokemon. I really should have just stayed in versus their Obstagoon, but I guess that's something I didn't know. And it's honestly very confusing that they brought their Obstagoon in on Victreebel, considering I would argue that Whimsicott has a better matchup versus Victreebel than Obstagoon does. But I think it was just people playing Pokemon they haven't really before. This is still going to be close. Mandibuzz is still a very strong Pokemon. But I'm going to have to count my moves properly. So 1 and then a charge move, and then 1 and then a charge move. I'm going to CMP tie there instead. And I have to live this. Otherwise, this is going to be a loss. So Mandibuzz will be able to beat Probopass here. But it's just a matter of if Victreebel can take down Mandibuzz at the end. And it's going to be extremely close. Mandibuzz is barely going to get to an aerial ace here. And it's going to be Snarl versus Spark to finish this game, and Spark is barely going to get it done. I think that's a 1 turn difference between a win and a loss there, so that's an IV dependent win-loss. But yeah, very, very close game considering their initial play, for sure. So we're going to see an Obstagoon lead. This is normally how Obstagoon lead goes. No, it's not. They swap out, and this is a pretty spicy team. This is Poison Sting Quillfish. I have no idea how fast it's charging. I've never played against anything like this before. So I have no idea if it's at a Sludge Wave right now, or it's an Aqua Tail, or an Aqua Tail and a Sludge Wave. I have no idea. So I just shield. It's an Aqua Tail, and I decided to swap out just in case it is a Sludge Wave. This was just the better be safe than sorry thing, and they just go off with Aqua Tail. I'm going to be able to get a ton of energy on my Mandibuzz, and they're going to come out with Lantern, so not ideal. This is maybe a situation where I should have just stayed in, but either way, as long as I don't really spend shields, Victreebel is pretty good against their back line. I would like to, like, this Probopass isn't going to do anything versus Obstagoon, so I would have liked to have that against this Lantern instead, but I'm going to swap out right away to force this Obstagoon back out. I don't have any shields remaining because I used it on Mandibuzz. In hindsight, I really should have saved it for Victreebel. But you live and you learn, because that would have just been a guaranteed win. But I'm going to force shields there, and Mandibuzz is going to come back in, and they're going to get to hopefully not a gunk shot. Hopefully, yeah, it's just a cross chop. Interesting that this Obstagoon is running cross chop. I haven't seen too much of that recently, and I'm going to be able to finish off that Obstagoon. My one hope now is that this Lantern cannot farm down my Mandibuzz and get to a Hydro Pump, which might be able to KO Probopass. It'd be very close, but luckily we won't have to worry about that. And then this will be the last battle of this set. I think we're at 4 wins right now. Hopefully going for 5. 5 wins would be huge. And it's a Cherrim Sunny. Really hoping it's Razor Leaf, but it's Bullet Seed. So 3 Bullet Seeds, and I'm going to swap and try and catch that Weather Ball Fire on Mandibuzz. I want to get rid of this Cherrim's energy. Cherrim Sunny is one of the Pokemon that is really well against both Probopass and Shadow Victreebel. But if you can kind of delete some of its energy, then it makes it much more manageable. So that catch on Weather Ball Fire is actually very, very important onto Mandibuzz. And we're going to see Mandibuzz versus Galarian Stunfisk here. This matchup is not nearly as bad as you think. You're just dealing neutral damage, and you resist Earthquake, so they have to throw Rock Slides, which I guess are super effective, but look how much damage they do. It's not even going to KO after 2 Rock Slides and a Weather Ball Fire. I'm just going to keep spamming out these foul plays, and I'm actually going to force a shield. And guess what? Since the Mud Shot does no damage, I'm going to force another shield. And this puts me at a huge disadvantage. This team isn't used to playing up shields. I'm happy with bringing in Shadow Victreebel. I haven't really been counting their moves. I know they have a ton of energy, maybe close to 100. And this shield was probably not well thought out. I decided to shield the second time. I know it's going to be a Rock Slide, and I can live it, but I decided not to save the shield, and it might actually come back to bite me. especially with Cherrim Sunny. Solar Beam really hurts, and we come in with a lot of lag. They're actually going to bring in Muck, so this is really good for me. Muck can't really do too much to Probopass, and I'll just be able to get some Rock Slides off here. I want to finish this Muck off before they get to another charge move, though. Otherwise, I will be in a little bit of trouble. Yeah. And this Cherrim is really needed to go for the Solar Beam. But because they didn't have enough energy there and they weren't sure when I would get to the Rock Slide, because they can't let me get a Rock Slide off, that's a bit of an issue for them. So they're going to need to throw another move because they can't farm me all the way down, and I'll be able to come back in with Victreebel. And I think I have a Store Up Leaf Blade anyway, so this is why they needed to prevent the Rock Slide, and they knew it, so they couldn't go for the Solar Beam. If they hadn't used that Wither Ball Fire on Mandibuzz, they would have been able to go for the Solar Beam. So that sack swap at the beginning actually did end up winning that game. So yeah, 5-set. Moving quickly up the ratings here. I actually stayed here for a little bit. The queue times were very long, and then I queued up, I think, maybe a day later or something like that. Played some more games. This was yesterday, I guess. So yeah, I did a Marsh Cup thing, resetting my team back to this one, and we're going to find a game right away here, and it's a Skarmory lead. Lots of Skarmory and Catch Cup for sure. You're going to have to swap out right away, and unfortunately they have a perfect counter swap to Mandibuzz. Wigglytuff takes Mandibuzz to town. Most Charmers do. Like, at least you get shields off of Whimsicott, but Wigglytuff just does too much damage. I'm trying to use my fast move denial to stop them from getting extra charms in, so that hopefully I can get to a third aerial ace, and I barely will. And unfortunately, I don't even force this Wigglytuff to shield. It's also going to have a charge move here, so it's going to be able to throw that charge move at whatever comes in. So I do have to come in with Probopass. I'm going to elect not to shield here and just really hope that they have nothing good for Probopass. But unfortunately, they have Whiscash, and this game is essentially over. There's not really any win condition. What I needed to do was stay in a bit with Probopass against Whiscash, throw Rock Slide before switching, and maybe try and catch some Whiscash energy. But instead of that, they're able to farm down, and they're just going to throw Brave Bird, so I can't farm as much energy off of them. They don't want me to be able to get to multiple Rock Slides. But it doesn't really matter. These Rock Slides don't really do too much damage. Whiscash resists everything, and is kind of a very hard counter to Probopass, and I guess Bastardon. So it's a Pokemon that you do have to watch out for with this team in the back. These Skarmory Whiscash teams that are around, if the Skarmory is the lead, you have to be able to win back switch advantage with Mandibuzz somehow, or be able to draw out the Whiscash into the Mandibuzz. Some people still do that too. So next matchup versus Speediest Chief. Very good player. He's running a very budget team as well. Obstagoon in the lead. This is very favorable for me. You don't shield the first Night Slash, just in case they get the boost. Then you have to shield the second one. And they're going to swap out Skarmory right away. And I'm just going to straight counter with Probopass. Mandibuzz can actually deal with the other flyers pretty well, just in case they're running a double flyer type team. But in this case, they are not. And I am just going to throw a Rock Slide. And they usually won't shield. But if they do, it's a bonus too, because they don't do much damage. I don't mind. I just want to farm them all the way down and be able to have enough, or 100 energy. I have 100 energy now, but more than 100 energy for the next round. Yeah, so Probopass, ton of energy. Whatever comes back in, it's probably going to be the Obstagoon because he wants the farm down opportunity. I'm just going to throw Rock Slides. I don't want this Obstagoon to get too much energy off. Like, there's a counter that gets through there. But I'm going to swap right away, and I'm going to swap right into Victreebel. And this is actually a nightmare Wigglytuff right now. Luckily, they let the Leaf Blade through. That's all I can say. Because Mandibuzz is in the back. I don't think they think it's a Mandibuzz. And Mandibuzz does not do very well against Wiggly here at all. Yeah, they're going to let that through. And I'm going to end up being able to two shield, or keep both my shields in this game. So a little bit of leeway, but the way that matchup kind of turned around, I was going to be in a little bit of trouble for sure versus that Wigglytuff if some shields came out. So Alolan Sandslash, very annoying Pokemon. It beats all three of these Pokemon, I think, in Sims. It's yeah, very strong. And I've seen a couple of them, but luckily swapping into Mandibuzz brings out their Whiscash. So this is good for me because I can either choose, I can shield there, or I can choose not to shield. They usually Blizzard first. People haven't been baiting, so if I shield the first Blizzard, I can guarantee switch advantage with just one shield. And you can see they're spending shields as well. I do want switch advantage here, but I also recognize that I need shields and switch advantage for Probopass to beat Alolan Sandslash. So I have to make that bait call, and I let that Mud Bomb through, and I win switch advantage barely. It'd be really nice if I get to a foul play here, but unfortunately I don't. And now, despite having shield advantage, I'm gonna have to play against this Alolan Sandslash, which has energy advantage. So I actually probably shouldn't have shielded the first one. People have been baiting a lot with Alolan Sandslash, and I decided not to shield the second one. And it's a Gyro Ball. So this guy's not even running Bulldoze. This makes this matchup a lot more comfortable for Probopass. I don't know why you'd run Gyro Ball. I think it's a very bad move. And in the back, they have Cherrim Sunny. This is perfect. It's a Razor Leaf Cherrim Sunny. If this was a Bullet Seed Cherrim Sunny, I would be in a lot of problems. But I could just shield that Weather Ball and farm all the way down. And even though Leaf Blade is resisted against Alolan Sandslash, it does quite a bit of damage. So he won't be able to farm me all the way down, because I'll be able to get to a Leaf Blade before he'll be able to do that. Which is very nice, because otherwise I think he could have taken that energy and maybe flipped it against Probopass. It would have been very close. It would have been in race to the next Gyro Ball or Spark. So this next match, we start with a Whiscash. This is a rank 7 somehow. This is what happens when your queue times are like an hour long. So Whiscash swapping to Skarmory. This is pretty expected. And we're going to see what they throw here. Is it Flash Cannon this game? Yeah, it's Flash Cannon. So I realized that I actually kind of need to throw my energy here. I can't just farm all the way down like I normally would. So I'm going to throw another Rock Slide, because I don't want to have to spend a shield. Unfortunately, Switch Timer's not up yet. So I'm going to just get to that Rock Slide, throw right away, trying to wear down that Switch Timer, and swap into that Mandibuzz, because I think that it might be a Whiscash double flyer. That's the main reason I do that, because I want to save my Probopass for something in the back. And like I said, first one is usually a Blizzard. If I can eliminate that much energy from a Whiscash, that's fantastic. I'll probably tank a Blizzard here later. There's no way I'm able to farm this guy all the way down without him getting a Blizzard off. So you'll see, yeah, Blizzard here, but Mandibuzz can tank a Blizzard decently fine, and Alolan Raichu's in the back. So while this does quite a bit of, or Volt Switches will do quite a bit of damage to Mandibuzz, he's got to shield the foul plays, because these foul plays are super effective. Alolan Raichu is part Psychic, so I get 2 shields with Mandibuzz, and I'm also able to get out. I'm just going to have to, I don't have to shield this, but I do anyways. Oh, actually, I do. Holy cow, yeah, I would not have predicted that. Not many people run Psychic, but I shield that, and luckily I'm able to win with all 3 of my Pokemon remaining, but they're all very low health, so that's just a sign of like a well-maneuvered game. If you're able to move in and out and dodge in and out and keep your Pokemon alive, you're going to have a much better chance of winning this game. So I had some really bad lag. This is Kakaroto. They're a very good player. Been top of the leaderboards many times. It's the first time I've played them in a couple seasons, though. I think time zones just haven't lined up. And I actually thought this was a Brave Bird and a swap. So I did try and CMP tie there successfully. So that, yeah, that's why I thought it'd be a Brave Bird, because I knew he was going to swap. And now we're in out of sync switch timers, because we got 2 charge moves in there. So I can try and play the out of sync switch timer game. And this almost worked, except I ended up lagging. Oh, I'm so upset that the game lagged at this point. I'm not even sure if I would have won otherwise, but it would have made it a very competitive game, and this might have been one of the better games I would have ever played. So I'm going to shield Gungshot. I kind of do really want to preserve that Mandibuzz for later. And now this Obstagoon is forced to throw a nice slash at me. I know I'm going to be stuck in there anyways versus a Skarmory. So what I'm trying to do here is I don't want to get the Skarmory too low because I want to farm it down with Probopass, right? But I throw the Leaf Blade because I want to wear down the switch timer some more. So you can see the switch timer is coming up, and there's about 10 seconds left. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on this video, but I'm spamming the Probopass the whole time for the last 3 seconds, and it just doesn't go in. So there's some sort of lag, and it automatically puts Mandibuzz in instead. And it's a Machamp in the back. So what would have happened was I would have brought in my Probopass. Machamp might have gotten a couple of attacks off, and then I would have swapped into Mandibuzz, and I should have been able to Aerial Ace it down, or it would have been very close. It would have been a bait game with Rock Slide and Cross Chop, but instead, game decides to lag when I'm waiting as long as I can to wear down the switch timer and kind of ruins any chance I have at winning that game. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Still a 3-2 set, albeit one of the players was a rank 7, so I probably still lost points for that set. But it's hard to tell because you can't see your points unless you wait for the leaderboard updates. This last set here, we're going to see a Victreebel Mirror. So this is how you play the Victreebel Mirror. This person, spoiler alert, is running one of my old teams, probably my most successful team. I'm going to play it the traditional way and just not throw any charge moves because I realize that with Mandibuzz, I more than ever need switch advantage. I can't let my Mandibuzz go against a Bastiodon. So whatever they send in here is not going to like a Leaf Blade. I'm going to Leaf Blade once, and I know I can't switch. I can't give up switch advantage. So what I normally would do is switch, but I'm going to throw the second Leaf Blade instead. Luckily, they didn't get a counter through or I would have lost all that energy. So they're going to let that Leaf Blade through, which is absolutely huge for me. Now I need to line up my Mandibuzz versus their Vigoroth, and then my Probopass versus their Bastiodon, and you're going to get to see the full Probopass versus Bastiodon matchup now. It really is just get to your charge move and use it. And it's just your fast move does neutral damage, and theirs does double resisted damage. So a bit of lag there, but in this matchup, this specific matchup, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, we're going to see both Pokemon slowly going down. We have shields to deal with this kind of stuff too. And even so, Mandibuzz is not too bad versus Bastiodon. Like, it's quite bad, but if you can get some foul plays off, you deal quite a bit of damage. I'm going to charge up as much as I can and throw this Aerial Ace. I think he's not going to shield. And I don't know why I threw Aerial Ace. I really should have thrown foul play. But it is what it is. It didn't really matter. And I'm just going to keep getting to these charge moves here. And they're actually just going to save some time and leave there. So yeah, it's always fun seeing team I created out there. Especially in Catch Cup, someone decided to build it. So that's honestly an honor. We're going to see a Mantine lead here. So I'm going to build a Mantine for Catch Cup. We're going to see, I'm going to count to 5 bubbles. And they're going to swap. So luckily, they swapped to Alolan Sandslash now. Unfortunately, okay, I do shield the Bulldoze correctly this time. So I know this guy's not messing around with the baits. If they throw Bulldoze the first time, it's almost guaranteed they'll throw it the second time. But I don't want to go too many shields down. Especially with Mantine out there with a full Ice Beam. That means I can't bring in Shadow Victreebel anymore. So I kind of have to let this through. Yeah, it's going to be a Bulldoze, but you can see Probopass actually survives it. I thought Probopass would survive with a bit more because I assumed Drill Run would deal more damage from Rapidash. But I'm able to win that matchup with even shields. So that's pretty big. Unfortunately, this is a pretty easy farm down opportunity for another Pokemon, but it's Whimsicott. So that actually makes this matchup very, very, very hard. Whimsicott beats both my remaining Pokemon. And there's a Mantine with an Ice Beam in the back. And I'm going to get to another Leaf Blade. I really need to take this Whimsicott down. I can't afford to shield on it. But they swap instead. So that's actually really good for me. I'm not going to shield here, I don't think, because it's never good to shield the first one versus anything with a debuff move. Because it's in their best interest to bait with the debuff move as soon as possible. So I'm just not going to let them get to another Ice Beam here. I have 2 charge moves, and I should be able to take out the Whimsicott with the Aerial Ace that I have stored up now. And that should be an easy game. So calling the bait there, playing that properly is was very important to that win. Yeah, we'll see how this next game here goes. Toxicroak lead. All right, so I like to stay in versus these. I'm counting his fast moves. It's very important versus Toxicroak. 6 to a Mud Bomb is all that matters. So he's going to throw a Mud Bomb first. I shield it. And then I'll throw my Leaf Blade, the fast move denial, to stop them from, or to get a shield back. And actually, yeah, I didn't even need to use the proper strategy there. I swap into Mandibuzz, and that draws out Bastiodon immediately. So that's honestly a bit of trouble. I need to do as much damage to this Bastiodon as possible. I know they have a Skarmory in the back, so that my Probopass does have a good matchup. So I don't shield, but luckily they Flamethrower. I think this is... that was an intentional use of Flamethrower as like a pseudo undercharge to deal less damage so they can exit this energy with enough, or sorry, exit this matchup with enough energy for multiple charge moves, or almost 2 charge moves, and lag almost stops me from getting off that foul play. I would have been extremely upset if this game would have been lost due to that, but I'm able to force... So you see what happens there? Okay, what a disaster. So I clicked this side as my Pokemon died, and it switched into a Victreebel that looked like a Probopass there. So this bug almost cost me the game as well. Extremely frustrating to have something like that happen. I think it's when you try and switch... when a Pokemon dies, it automatically puts in a Pokemon, and then I press the side, which brought in that other Pokemon at the exact same time. So it brought in a Victreebel looking like a Probopass. Luckily, Probopass dominates this matchup so badly that I don't need the extra Shadow Victreebel in the back. I'll burn a shield here because the most damage they can do is from Flamethrower. And I'll just throw my Thunderbolts here and just finish this up. I just can't let them get to another Flamethrower. Yeah, Probopass showing its worth versus Bastiodon here. And yeah, they'll just leave the game there. So I wonder if they actually saw Probopass on my side too, or what they saw happening. It was just yeah, this was a weird set of a bunch of weird things happening. We're going to see an Azumarill lead and swap into Galarian Stunfisk. So play this as usual. They only charged up to 7, but I wasn't sure with all the lag happening today if they were if that was real or not. Because maybe they had charged to 8, but I just didn't see it. Who knows? I just wasn't trusting anything on this day. And then I try and catch the Earthquake here, and I fail to get an extra fast move off, but guess what? They still Earthquake. So Mandibuzz, this is the move I contemplated playing when I was thinking through the Auburn matchup in my head earlier. I was like, why didn't I just swap to catch it on Mandibuzz if I was planning on swapping afterwards anyways, right? Because they're going to... Yeah, now they're going to bring in their Azumarill. And that's what I kind of want to bait out anyways, is to remove that for the Probopass. So if my goal is to switch anyways, then why not swap to try and catch the Earthquake against a player like these two, who are actually counting their moves. So they're going to bring in the Skarmory actually now. Kind of an interesting play, because I'm just going to be able to bring in Probopass. And at this point, it's just... there's no Flash Cannon. There's no hope. Do I throw a Rock Slide here? I do. Do I? Yeah, I feel like I have to throw a Rock Slide at this point just to speed up this game a little bit. And I'm just going to let it go all the way through, do minimal damage, just because I want to still leave this matchup with a ton of energy. They're going to swap now into Azumarill, but I think I'm at almost 2 Thunderbolts, and I'm going to swap to catch whatever they throw onto Mandibuzz here, which is interesting because it was an Ice Beam. And then Skarmory's going to come back in. I'll throw a Leaf Blade at it. I don't think there's really any hope left, but they will still play it out, which is fine. I think that's admirable, even though I don't really do that a lot myself. But yeah, Sky Attack, I'll shield just in case. They were baiting me the whole time, and they had Flash Cannon the whole time. But that was very unlikely. So another win. I think that's 4 out of 5. And we're going to go to this last game, which I messed up a little bit and could have easily won and made this a 5-0 and been higher on the leaderboards. But you live and you learn. They bring in the Wigglytuff. I'm going to stay in because Victreebel's matchup versus Wigglytuff is very good. In hindsight, I probably should have swapped Probopass just because Victreebel can also deal with Obstagoon. But I'm gonna yeah. So this is not like the real mess up. This is just like this is a normal mistake. The other thing was just a mechanic misread. I'm just charging up because I know that they're just throwing moves until they can swap into Obstagoon. I think I do end up throwing a foul play, just because I'm going to be at max energy otherwise. But I really want them to come back in with Obstagoon because I've messed up, and my Probopass absolutely can't be against it, and my Victreebel has almost no HP. It's going to get countered down. So I'm going to throw these aerial aces, really try and get this Obstagoon as low as I can. And I decide not to shield here. And I don't get that aerial ace off. So mistake one. Mistake two, I have so much energy on Victreebel. But I realize I just need to fast move down this Obstagoon. And you see that Razor Leaf go through. So I saw that Razor Leaf go through, and I assumed that that would deal damage to Obstagoon, but he swapped out right away, and he deferred the fast move damage onto Golbat, and I didn't realize that at this point. So because of this, I thought he was only about 1 or 2 sparks away, and I didn't want this Golbat to get to another Shadow Ball, otherwise I would be in a lot of trouble. And unfortunately, he did not take that damage, so he's more than just 1 or 2 sparks away, and I'm going to eat this Night Slash. And we're going to tie. And if I had just thrown my Leaf Blades against this Obstagoon, or if I had realized that he had fast move, deferred it, then and played my energy better on Probopass versus the Golbat, I would have been able to win that game too. But that was just a misread on my part. I got a bit too nervous, I think, leading up to a 5-0 on this day. But yeah, Season 5 is probably done for me right now. Hopefully this should leave me on the front page of the leaderboards at the end of it all. If not, I'll probably have to play some more games to try and get there. But yeah, Season 5 was a nice little experiment. I really wish they made it a little bit harder. Not harder, but like more games played to get to rank 10 to keep everyone more engaged. I think a lot of people burned out very, very quickly in this season. I can't wait for Season 6. Looks like they've a longer season and a lot more ranks and plans for that. Hopefully we see a lot more themed cups. Those were very exciting. But yeah, as always, I'll link my Patreon and Discord in the comments if you guys want to either support me or join that, and hit that subscribe button if you do like this kind of content. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.